All right, guys, welcome to this video. I've got Steve Trang here for another video. We're gonna have a great conversation. And what we wanna talk about on this video is how to close more wholesale deals. And Steve is an expert in the sales training arena, in the investing community, especially wholesaling and flipping. So if you wanna close more deals, this is a video for you coming up.
For a limited time, you can get a free copy of Jerry Norton's Quickstart Kit with everything you need to flip your first house in 30 days or less. Download it now at myquickstartkit.com.
If you're new here, I'm Jerry Norton, and I went from dead broke to millionaire flipping houses. And after doing over 1,000 deals, I created this channel to help you master the art of wholesaling and flipping. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified when new videos are released. All right, Steve, it's great to have you here in the office doing another video. And I'm really excited about today's topic because you really specialize in this topic, which is sales, phone sales and appointment sales, seller sales, and sales training. And when I asked you to come and do an interview, I asked you, hey, what topic is important to you right now? And you said the importance of sales training.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the things that you're a big believer in is in the competitive industry that we are right now, with everybody having access to pretty much the same information, it really comes down to how effectively you can close a sale. And is that true? Do you believe that?
100%. That's the deciding factor.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about that. Why is that?
We live in an age now where data is prevalent. Yeah. So we're in this data age and cheap. So like 10 years ago, man, if you could find a motivated seller, you got it, because there's no competition, right? And that's kind of what I've alluded to before. Back in 2012, 2013, it was just me versus Sean Terry on PPC. That was great. Yeah. I was a crappy salesperson and I got deals, right? But today, we're all basically pulling the same list, right? There's all these same list providers, whether it's List Source, PropStream, whatever. We're skip tracing it pretty much with the same company. And then after that, we're cold calling and texting with pretty much the same platforms. Yeah. Like there's only Mojo, Call Tool, Zen, and a few different ones. So we're all approaching the homeowner the same exact way. So as a homeowner, you think there's like thousands of people that want to buy your house. How do you go from being a commodity, because in their mind, you are a commodity. How do you go from being a commodity to a valuable asset? And really it comes down to your ability to sell them on you. And that's the challenge. And that's what we talk about. For a lot of people, for most investors, if you can increase 10% of your appointments, get 10% more appointments with the same exact data, close 10% more of your appointments, and then get those closings at a larger margin, right there, we've
doubled your income, right? Or more.
We've tripled your revenue
yeah.
without increasing your expenses, which usually
with the
means
same data.
With the same
It's
data.
not like you're buying more data or doing more calls, the same exact
effort.
So apples to apples.
Yeah, you increase your top line by at least 30%, which means you increase your bottom line probably by about 100%.
So say those three things again. 10% more appointments
on the same list.
Okay, then so that's just improving your ability to get an appointment. Okay, 10% more where?
Closing,
getting the deal.
Yeah, because it's not one-on-one anymore. It's you versus 4, 5, 7 guys.
Yep, and then the other one was
deeper margins.
Yeah, so better spread, so lower price.
Yep.
Those three things completely will transform your business.
Completely transform. And the reason why it works is that we're able to, our sales style is really just communicating effectively. Like that's the biggest thing. But here's something I want the people that this may appeal to, right? Like for most people, for some people, maybe the system won't work. But if you ever had someone say, I need to think about it. Yeah. I need to think it over. I need to talk to my wife. I need to have an attorney look at this. I need to have my son, my daughter, my neighbor, my rich uncle, whatever. Yeah. If you're running into that, it's because you haven't actually established the rules of the meeting, saying, hey, when we meet Jerry today, it's gonna be a yes or a no. Now, it's not gonna be those words. I'm just kind of like shortcutting it. It's gonna be a yes or a no, and you're not allowed to think about it. Are we good? And it's having that kind of conversation where we remove that, and we'll talk again how to have that conversation. Yeah. But that's the first step. And the second thing is a lot of people really fail to understand, like you've gone through some sales training. We've all gone through a whole bunch of sales training. And every sales training, if they're worth anything, says you got to find pain. Yeah. but they don't tell you what pain is or how to really develop that pain. And so you see someone, oh, he's going through divorce. He's going through pain. But is he really going through pain? Like right now, like, yeah, he's going through divorce. But are you asking him, like, you know, how long has this been going on? Yeah. That's where we want to say, okay, how do you feel about it? How's it impacting it? You know, how is this bullet wound impacting you right now? It's like, it's painful as hell. So
yeah, so you've taken this process of years of experience. You run a brokerage with 120 plus agents. So this, you know, talking to people, getting listings, getting cash offers accepted, this is your whole world. This is something that you've put a lot of effort into getting better at. And so many people in this industry, they jump into wholesaling, they start getting on the phones, they start making offers, and they just don't put much effort into just improving themselves, gaining the skill set, but really looking at this process of talking to people on the phones, which is the pre-qualifying, right? Going on appointment, if you still go on appointment, we're doing less of that with now the way things are. But, you know, being able to improve your ability to connect with people, to find solutions, discover the pain, you know, get to the root cause, find that motivation, pre-qualify that, and put deals together. And that just, I mean, that is just so transformational to get better at that.
Well, it's one of the most important skills, and it's translated a lot. And a lot of it has really come down to, like you mentioned, you know, I've gone through all these different appointments, trained all these agents. You know, I've been doing this since 2007. Yeah. So getting kicked in the nuts, punched in the mouth, over and over. Right? How many times have I run into, I need to think about it? It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then they ghost you, because what else are they going to do after they think about it?
I know. I just had a call yesterday, Steve, where I'm thinking of you right now so she said to me, I gave the number, and she said to me, okay, well, you know, let me call a few other people, and then I'll get back to you, you know, end of the day. And I said, when you say call a few other people, are you talking about other investors like me? And she says, yeah. And I said, okay, how many other people are you talking to? And she's like, oh, like 3 or 4. And so here I am now, like it's all about, I'm a commodity. It's like you said, I'm a commodity. Oh, I was at 120. She's like, okay, well that guy's at 121. Maybe he's at 125. I'll go with that one. And so if I don't do a good job of saying, no, look, here's why you want to work with me. It's not about the number. Yeah. Let's get past the number and do a good job at that. I'll lose out all the time, because there's always another guy that's going to pay more than me.
Yeah. So I just want everyone right now that's watching, if you guys have bought a car in the last 20 years, okay, what did you do? You went to the car's dealership website, you found the car you liked, you submitted the email inquiry, the guy calls you up, it's like, yeah, you know, I'm looking at this, but I'm not really excited about it. Yeah. And then you say, okay, now you go to the 3 other dealerships, it's like, here's the best offer so far, can you beat it? Yeah. That's what the homeowner is doing to you, right? And we need to get out of that, and the way we get out of it is through A, establishing rules, but B, building business rapport. And the way I try to emphasize business rapport is, if I can understand the world that Jerry's living in, if I can see the world through Jerry's eyes, hear what he hears, feel what he feels, I've got such a big advantage against every other investor.
You know, there's something I heard you say, we all sell how we want to be sold. Now, what do you mean by that, and how does that play a factor in this?
So I learned this it was a really expensive lesson for over 10 years, right? Because I'm a former engineer, recovering engineer, right?
Which is weird that you're in sales, or sales is your thing, because engineers and sales don't normally go together.
They don't.
But what you've done is you've engineered the sales process.
That's what I was going to say. I took the sales process, I broke it down and put it back together in an optimal way, which like an engineer would do. So we sell how we want to be sold, meaning, like, if you're a talker, you're this really sociable person, you're going to talk to this other person like it's a really social situation. But if they're a driver, they're like, get off, like, get out of here, what are you doing? Or even worse, if they're an analytical, boy, they cannot wait to rush you out of their house. Like, you didn't come to me with data, you didn't give me data points, you didn't give me numbers, what the hell are you doing in my house, right? So what you got to do is you got to recognize is people, you got to behave in a way that they would understand. And it's difficult, because some people will say, like, you know, you're being manipulative, or you're changing your.
Is it really just mirroring?
It's absolutely mirroring, right? It's acting as if they want to act. So, and the reason why this is necessary is because you can have cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
If I'm analytical, right?
Yeah.
And if you come in here and you try to close me in 5 minutes, I say, all right, Jerry, where's the data? How do you know this is worth this much? You know, how did you come up to that data? And I'll ask you the same question 5 different ways just to make sure you're not BSing me because I'm an analytical.
And that's funny you say that, because one of my sales approaches when I'm on the phone is I love to use data to justify my numbers, because that's how I like it. So when I'm talking to a seller, I'll say, well, hey, have you seen this comp? And they're like, no. And I'll tell them about the comp, and I'll say, look, it's totally fixed up. It sold for 100,000. You're asking, right? And so I'm trying to use logic. Now, some people appreciate that. Some people are like, oh, well, shoot, then yeah, that makes sense why you're at your number. Some people, they don't care about that. So that's where that mirroring really plays a
If you talk to a bubbly personality and you start talking to them about numbers, they're waiting to leave.
Yeah. They're dying to get out of there.
Yeah. So you got to communicate to them the way they want to be communicated with. And that's why I said we sell how we want to be sold. So for me, the best way to sell me is walk into my house with data. But if you're coming in without data, you're not going to sell me. So I used to try to sell people
that way
with
only.
data.
Yeah.
And that was a disaster, because most people actually do not want to be sold with data. And so that's what I meant by people sell how they want to be sold. And that's a classic salesperson mistake.
And that was hearing you say that was a real big takeaway for me, because here on the channel, I do a lot of videos where I'm on the phones and I teach, here's why I said what I said, and here's kind of my, and that works for me. Now I teach it like this is the only way. Well, I don't mean to, but like, hey, because it works, or it works for me, but it's not the only way or necessarily the right way. It's what works for me. Yeah. But what I really need to do to improve is get better at mirroring and matching, and really digging in and changing my style when I need to, be able to do that on the fly based on the person on the other line, not necessarily just my preference, right?
Sure. So I'll just give just a real few quick examples, right? If you're dealing with someone that's a sales manager, you gotta be in there in and out. So you gotta be able to go through your stuff, but don't expect the meeting to last more than 30 minutes.
Get to your pitch and get out of there.
Right? If you're dealing with a bubbly person, you're gonna talk about her friends, her family, her kids, whatever, before you get down to business.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't care about her. You're dealing with someone that's a teacher or a nurse, just be ready to answer their questions for the next hour, hour and a half, and be comfortable. Yeah. And if you're dealing with an analytical, probably better off just leaving. But if you're gonna stay, just understand when they say they need to think about it, they actually mean it.
Yeah.
Whereas the other people, when they say I need to think about it, they're just trying to protect your feelings, right? Like,
they don't want to say no.
I don't want to say no. Just let me think about it and never return your call, right? But an analytical, an engineer, or an attorney or accountant,
they mean it.
They actually mean they want to think about it.
That's good. Well, there's one more thing I want to ask you to talk about, and it's the importance of getting off the phone. Mm-hmm. I've heard you talk about this a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of times, and I'm real big about this. This is a real big thing for me, because my belief is the worst thing you can do is chase after dead leads or waste your time and not use your time effectively. And I look at it like I look at the opportunity cost of everything. So if I'm doing one thing, I'm not doing another thing. And so what's the value of that trade-off? Mm-hmm. So why do you talk about that? Why is it so important to get off the phone?
Sure. So before we talk about why you need to get off the phone, I'll talk about why people stay on the phone. Yeah. And it's hope. It's like, God, if I can just convince this guy, I don't need to cold call anybody else.
The longer we talk, the more I'll get my deal done, right?
Right. So that's that fear. So when in reality, all that time wasted is really costing you money. So the way I look at it, the way we train ourselves, guys, is if you can get off the phone with an unmotivated person that's insufficiently motivated, if you can do that twice an hour, that's 15 minutes you save per call. If you can reduce 2 15-minute wasted calls per hour, every time that happens, if you waste 2 15-minute calls, you wasted half an hour every hour, which by definition, you've cut your hourly income in half. Your potential income that hour was cut in half.
Wow.
And the simple math is your annual income.
You're getting sales from an engineer's point of view, right?
Absolutely. Your annual income is directly tied to your hourly income. Yeah. So if you're wasting time on the phone, chasing dead leads, trying to convince somebody, all you're doing is just throwing money out the window. You're just burning it. And I got a great friend. What he said is, professionals sort and amateurs convince. And if you just remember that.
Professionals sort, amateurs convince. Okay.
Like,
yeah, because if you're still on the phone, you're convincing. The motivation's not there. Get the heck off the phone.
Yeah.
Put them in a follow-up and move on.
Right. If the guy wants exactly what Zillow says and he's not taking a dime less.
Why are you talking?
And he's indicated that he's got no motivation. Yeah. Why are you there? Now, if the guy's going to foreclosure next week and he wants Zillow, I will go there. Yeah. And I'm convinced,
let's talk.
Yeah, we can make this happen. Yeah. But if the guy wants Zillow, he's not in foreclosure, he's not going through divorce, he's just a high equity list. Yeah. Why are you spending time on that call?
Good point. So that's a huge takeaway. Love that. So Steve, here's what I want to do right here so everybody's listening. I want to go through your sales training because I recognize that if I can go through your sales training, pick up some nuggets, learn some things, for sure I will. I mean, I've learned so much just talking to you on this interview, then that'll make me a better wholesaler, better in sales. I want to put my team through it too. So send me that link so that I can sign up for that training. I'll put that link below also as well in the description below. So if you guys want to really up your game, step up your game, then be sure to go through Steve's training. And again, it's going to help you really get good on the phones, really get good on your appointments, and approach it from a very, what I love is a very strategic way of doing your sales. It's not just, let's get on the phone, hopefully we get around to a number and then we get a deal done, right? It's approaching this business as a professional or trying to be a professional. So let's do that. And again, thank you, Steve, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this video. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe. There's like 600 videos here on the channel. This is the #1 channel on YouTube for all things wholesaling and flipping, and we'll see you on the next video.